All right, how's it going, everyone? This is Flash with Flash Weather coming at you. It's about 5 o'clock Central Time, Saturday, January 15th. We have yet another winter storm to talk about tonight. Winter Storm Izzy is its name. This is the third winter storm for our viewing area this year. Very rare for us to have so many storms in such little time. We're averaging about one a week. So let's just get right into modeling here. I want to show you the latest advisory board per the National Weather Service in Nashville. You can see most of our viewing area highlighted in this pink shading. That means and constitutes a winter storm warning, where we could have potentially more than 3 inches of snow in play. The counters in purple, winter storm advisories, less snow totals up near the Kentucky state line. In the northwestern portion of our viewing area, Clarksville, you would be included in the advisory. And you can see the snowfall forecast. This is coming off a little 2 o'clock Central, so a couple hours ago, this map was updated. And I get why OHX is putting this out there, but I want to tell you guys, I do think for this system, the greatest snow totals will be south of I-40 and east of 65. So I'm a little skeptical of the warnings here. If you go west of 65 and north of 40, I don't know if I fully agree with these warnings, but I get playing it conservative based on how the last system achieved. So we'll jump to tropical tidbits here so you can see the big picture. You can see we have snow already breaking out. It's really, this system has been overachieving in Arkansas, and this system is actually, it's taken a unique track. This is probably the most complicated winter storm in maybe 12 years, in 2009. At least for our neck of the woods. And this storm has dove down the Great Plains yesterday, Missouri. It almost went due south into Arkansas and affected parts of Oklahoma. But you could see the track of the system, how it's getting close to the panhandle of Florida, but not quite so south. And it's starting to make a turn to the northeast. This is not going to be a nor'easter, as this high pressure over here in New England is going to help keep it from going too far offshore, if at all. But we have the main ingredients for snow in Tennessee. We got cold air source, even though this is going to be a more marginal setup in terms of temps. We could have some thermal issues that I'll get to in just a second. But as far as the track, a good chunk of our viewing area will see some snow tomorrow. The question is how much, and there's so many dynamics in play, from dynamic cooling to even just the tilt of the trough becoming neutral tilt once this low starts to target and track the Appalachians. There's going to be a trowel. There's going to be an area of very heavy snow and convective snow. We just don't know where that's going to set up, and it's why there's a lot of confusion in the meteorological community about what's going to actually happen tomorrow. But we could look at some of our primary modeling, the GFS. We generally start there. You could see a very healthy amount of snow. This is way overdone, in my opinion. And I think part of these inflated numbers, representative of mixed precipitation sleet getting in there. We'll just jump to the NAM, the 18Z. You could see now the NAM is showing a little bit of a cutoff, and this is part of my concern, is there's going to be a steep gradient. Where that sets up, this could easily shift 20, 30 miles in either direction, or 50 miles, who knows. The 3 kilometer is more high resolution. You could see that some parts of Middle Tennessee get shut out entirely. I don't necessarily think that's going to be the case. We go back to the HRRRR, and the 21Z came in a bit juicier. This seems like a legit possibility, where Nashville gets in about 3 inches. But the heavier snows, and this is the theme here, the heavier snow totals down in southern Middle Tennessee, and I think that's where the trowel sets up. You could see some more mixing initially down here, but I think that the heaviest precipitation will be south of 40, and you get high rates, and it's going to cool the ground faster. The snow will stack up in a hurry. So that is why, at least looking at the HRRR, which is a really good job inside 24 hours, why I'm very bullish on our friends and neighbors to the south. I think this is going to be an event where the closer you look to the Alabama border, to the Kentucky border, that's where you're going to see potentially up to 4-6 plus inches of snow with higher isolated amounts. You can see with the Euro's been pretty consistent with the idea that most of us from border to border, Alabama and Kentucky, that is, along the I-40 corridor will benefit from Memphis to Nashville. I hope that's the case for my neck of the woods, but I just think that the majority of the heavier totals will be south and east. And again, this is overdone. I would reduce this by, say, 50% to 67%. So we could look at the RAP. We could look at the 21Z. And let's see what that says. Wow, that really explodes totals. This is the first time I'm seeing the 21Z RAP. I don't think this is true, but you could see just even this blob down here in southern central Tennessee. Like, again, there's this idea that, and this again could be because of sleep getting into the picture, but I really think that this is where our trial setup is going to be. There's going to be a trial, an area of convective, high intense banding with very with rapid falling snow, with high DBZs, and just where there are higher rates, where you could get 1 to 2 inches per hour for a couple hours consecutively. So modeling is all over the board. And if you dance around some of these other ones, like, and again, you see this national blend of models. I don't have access to it, but that just takes a cumulative average of everything. This one, I don't even know. This is way out to sea. There's going to be snow in here. I promise you that. I don't know why there's a gap there. But this might be worst case scenario. It's a variant of the high res NAM, I think. And you could see most of the action is, we kind of splitting hairs here, but I do believe, if I understand correctly, that a lot of the weather offices in the state of Tennessee are blending the high-res Euro and the NAM together, and that is, and there might be, due to uncertainties, go ahead and maybe taking this down a notch. So I don't fully agree. I don't entirely disagree, but I do think counties down here in the light blue shading should see some of these dark blues. Okay, so WPC. Now, this is going to encourage a lot of us, because you could see how this is the probability of 4+ inches of snow, and there's a greater than coin flip odds that we could see for most of Middle Tennessee 4+ inches, to very likely for a lot of us, based on the color coding here. You could see just where the greatest snow totals will occur with this system. This is not going to be a coastal storm. It's going to be an inland storm riding up the spine of the Appalachians and really getting into the Piedmont area of New York and Pennsylvania. Many of you guys up there are going to get plastered by this, but we're focused down here. So let's take a look at the plume viewer, as we try and do most of the time. You can see the mean. This, again, kind of captures a blend of models, and 2 inches for BNA. I think that's fair. I think that's about right, but you can see there's plenty of options above and beneath that black mean line. So you could see how this could go either way. I would set expectations to a couple inches. If you're in Nashville, if you're in Davidson County, I think I wouldn't surprise me if the trends are further south and east as we go in time. So Williamson County, looking at you, Rutherford, maybe. There being a steep gradient somewhere that lines up in there. So like Fairview could get an inch, between an inch or two, and then you have like Eaglesville getting like 4 or 5 inches. I wouldn't be surprised to see that type of gradient within a county set up somewhere, and you extrapolate that. So Columbia, you're sitting right now. The Plateau, obviously you're sitting right. I initially thought that there could be some mixing problems with the east wind coming off, but based on the current low track in the upper air dynamics, there's going to be an area like a warm nose aloft, but it's going to be so shallow, it's not going to compromise precip type. I feel like it's only going to enhance the accumulation rates of precipitation, and that the cold air, the dynamic cooling, is going to win out. It's already doing that in Arkansas. It's going to happen here. And so I feel like this is going to overachieve for several of us. I just think it's going to happen south of 40 and probably east of 65 if I had to quadrant it out. So that's all I got for now. Hope you guys got something out of this. And again, things could still change. This is a very complicated system. As always, I'll catch you on the fry. Have a wonderful night.